You can stop holding everything together. Rest doesn't need permission. If you happen to press play tonight, if these words find you before your eyes fully close, know that this moment is a threshold. The hour between wake and sleep is not accidental. It is a doorway. Lean into it. Breathe into it. Receive what is already seeking you. You are not behind. You are the permission. You arrive here exhausted for reasons that are not your fault. Not because you were lazy or because you failed some invisible test, but because you have been carrying stories that ask you to prove your worth. Stories that whisper you must earn rest, must earn comfort, must suffer to justify peace. Those stories live like sediment, heavy, old, layered. They press down and make the surface feel stuck. They make receiving feel dangerous. Your nervous system learned safety rules for a time when fight or flight kept you alive. It learned to distrust ease because ease once meant exposure. So now, when something gentle arrives, a pause, an offer, a soft yes, the body tenses as if to barter. The protector inside you does not want to steal your life. It wants to keep you safe. It repeats patterns because familiarity is safety. But familiarity can feel like limitation. This is not a failure. This is a system doing its job. And yet there is another truth. Rest does not need permission from those old safety patterns. Rest does not need permission from anyone. Rest is not a reward you earn by running faster. Rest is the atmosphere you carry when you are allowed to be whole. You are the permission. Say that to yourself softly. You are the permission. This is not a call to passive resignation. This is not an excuse to avoid action. It is an invitation to change the way you act, from force toward receiving. Breakthrough happens not by tightening your grip, but by loosening it enough for something new to move in. Pressure before expansion is normal. When tectonic plates adjust, there is rumble before new land appears. The pressure you feel can be the sign of something shifting under the surface. Tonight, the most fertile ground for that shift is right here, between waking and sleep. Many teachers and practitioners describe this space as a theta-adjacent window, a place where the mind is more receptive to suggestion, more open to rearrangement. Call it a thin doorway between conscious effort and unconscious possibility. Call it a field of possibility, a place where ideas can slip through the net of waking resistance. Whether you call it theta, or simply that soft edge of sleep, it is a potent time to offer your nervous system a new story. Manifestation, in the way we will speak of it, is not conjuring something out of nowhere. It is less about forcing planets to align, and more about becoming the kind of person who can receive what already wants to find you. If the universe were a river, your work is not to command the river to run. It is to get your boat ready, open, unstuck, untethered, so when the current comes, you can be carried. Becoming the receiver changes your frequency. When you lower the static inside, when you stop shouting into the field, things that match your quietness begin to appear. Let me guide you through a small ritual you can do tonight now in this doorway. It is somatic, simple, and gentle. It is an offering to your body and to the part of you that guards the thresholds. If you are able, come into a comfortable position. You can be lying down or seated. If you are listening away from bed, consider coming back to your mattress for this final act. Place one hand on your heart, the other on your belly. Feel the weight of your hands. Feel the warmth. Let those hands be witnesses. Before you continue, a small invitation. If this message is landing and you want to try this with me, pause the audio now and come into place. Place your hands. Return when you are ready. If you choose to continue listening without pausing, that is perfectly okay too. Keep your hands where they are or imagine them resting on your body. When you are ready, breathe in slowly through your nose for a count that feels comfortable. Let the breath find the belly under your lower hand. Exhale gently, allowing the ribs and the belly to soften. Do that 2 or 3 times in your own rhythm. A slow, steady inhalation that reaches the heart and the lower belly. A soft exhale that lets the belly release. As you breathe, say to yourself, silently, softly, however it feels safe, the phrase, I am allowed to receive what seeks me. Repeat it once. Repeat it twice. Let the words be a soft tide that washes over the nervous system, not as a command but as a proposal. I am allowed to receive what seeks me. I am allowed to receive what seeks me. Notice any resistance. Notice where the body tightens, where an eyebrow lifts, where your jaw sets. Name the small voice that says, "Who told you that?" Where is the proof for this? You do not need to argue with that voice. Acknowledge it as the protector it is, and then return your attention lovingly to your hands on your chest and belly, to the breath, to the phrase. If belief feels distant, your role is not to manufacture conviction right now. The role is to offer a new habit to the system, that rest is safe, that receiving is possible, that ease is allowed. Habits are rewired slowly through repetition and through the somatic signal that accompanies them. The hands on the heart and belly become a cue. The breath becomes the channel. The phrase becomes the map. Together, they teach the body that this is a safe pattern. When you feel ready, let your curiosity ask a gentle question. Where in my day did I already practice receiving without noticing? Not grand moments, small ones. A friend's unexpected message, a comfortable cup of tea, a laugh that came without planning. Let gratitude rise for those small entries. Gratitude is not denial, it is a reorientation. It tells the nervous system, we have held this before. We can hold it again. If you would like, imagine a line of light stretching from your heart to the horizon, a thin thread connecting present you to your future self. See that future person not as distant, but as someone whose hand reaches back to you now. What does that future self say? Maybe they say, "Thank you for letting me rest tonight." Maybe they say, "We were worth the wait." Maybe they simply breathe with you and smile. Allow that voice to be familiar. Let it transmit confidence not because it knows all outcomes, but because it knows your capacity to accept help. Expectations can complicate receiving, so do comparisons. Hold the future as transmission lightly. This is a frequency practice, more about how you feel in your body than about listing specific wins on a timeline. You are learning to be a receiver. The field responds to signal more than to demand. After a few breaths, soften your language toward yourself. Forgive yourself for the ways you were taught that rest was conditional. Forgive the younger parts of you who kept storms on watch because it felt necessary. Forgive anyone, real or imagined, who suggested that your worth depended on productivity. This is not a moral judgment. It is an unburdening. Forgiveness here is practical. It frees energy you were spending policing your own peace, and that freed energy can move toward new patterns. Now, a very simple reflective prompt you can fold into a nightly practice. Before sleep, ask yourself one question. What did I receive today, however small? Sit with the answer. If nothing arises, let the question linger without force. The act of asking teaches the brain to look for openings. Over time, what you notice grows. Remember, you do not need to be grand before you deserve rest. A single honest breath counts. A slow, soft-listed affirmation counts. The nervous system registers tone and safety more than public proof. Let me describe a few gradual changes people often notice when they allow this work to enter their nights, not as promises, but as possibilities that tend to follow a calmer baseline. You may find that small, synchronistic moments begin to appear. An email arriving with a helpful note, a person turning up at the right time, a conversation that opens a door. You might notice your attention shifts toward ease. You notice opportunities you used to miss because you were racing. You might feel less compelled to prove your worth through exhaustion. These are not guaranteed rewards, only common ripples when a system drops its guard. Manifestation, reframed, is not asking the universe to give you what you don't have. It is becoming someone who can receive what is already moving toward you. It is aligning your inner state with the outer possibility. When your baseline becomes one of permission, when rest is normal, not exceptional, you end up moving through life with a different magnetism. People often describe this as resonance. You stop scraping against the edges and begin harmonizing with what's around you. Practice matters, not because practice forces outcomes, but because practice reteaches the body to accept calm. Small acts are not insignificant. A daily breath ritual, a 5-minute journaling prompt, the habit of answering one soft question before bed. These are tectonic in slow motion. They rearrange the inner landscape with patient, quiet force. Here are a few simple daily gestures you can try, as invitations rather than rules. Before your feet touch the floor in the morning, place your hand on your heart and set a small intention. Today, I will notice openings. Today, I will allow rest to come when I need it. Midday. Pause for 30 seconds. Breathe into your belly. Imagine your future self watching with gratitude. Before sleep, repeat the ritual we practiced tonight. Place hands on heart and belly. Repeat. I am allowed to receive what seeks me. If you keep these gestures over weeks, you will likely notice that the nervous system responds with less alarm. Less alarm means less reactive effort. Less effort makes space for unexpected alignment. Again, none of this is a guarantee that everything you desire will drop into your lap. It is, however, a reliable way to move from friction into flow. There will be nights when resistance is louder. There will be mornings when the old stories dominate. That is part of the terrain, not a detour. When that happens, lean into the compassion you would offer a friend. Speak kindly. You are doing your best is a practical truth, not a platitude. The path of becoming the receiver is kind, patient, and persistent. As you prepare to close your eyes, invite a soft economy of attention. Let the mind catalog only what it needs to continue functioning tomorrow. Let the rest be ample enough to rebuild the subtle architecture of your life. Your mood, your creativity, your ability to notice the small gifts. Rest is part of the scaffolding of who you are. You do not have to negotiate for it. Now return your hands to your center if they have wandered. Breathe slowly. Bring the phrase back to the surface of your awareness and say it with the same softness as before. I am allowed to receive what seeks me. Say it again, and this time, feel it as if the words wash through the ribcage, settle beyond the chest, into the belly where old rules have taken root. Let the words land more than once. I am allowed to receive what seeks me. I am allowed to receive what seeks me. Hear me now. You are the permission. Repeat it with me if you like, quietly as the thought settles. You are the permission. You are the permission. When you feel the body soften even a fraction, imagine a narrow doorway opening in front of you. Small, humble, only big enough for one breath. Step toward it as you exhale. You don't have to sprint through. A single intentional step suffices. The doorway leads to the quiet field where future impulses can meet you without the old guard screaming alert. If it helps, place a soft image in your mind. A river that has kept its current for years finally finding a smoother path. The water changes course not because of force, but because the banks allow it a gentler turn. Your being is not a problem to be solved. It is a river to be tended. Allow the bank to soften where it can. Let the current find you. Before we close, a brief invitation. If this transmission touched something in you, consider making this a nightly practice. Pause the audio next time and do the ritual at the threshold before sleep. If you want to hear more guided transmissions like this one, follow or subscribe so these moments can arrive in your routine. No pressure, only an offer. Now, as you prepare to drift, carry with you these 3 quiet truths. 1. Rest doesn't need permission. You are the permission. Surrender is not passivity. Surrender is a different kind of strength, the strength to receive. 3. Small somatic acts change large patterns. Hands on heart, hands on belly, breath, and a truth whispered into the body. These are the tools. Breathe in, breathe out. Let your chest soften, let the belly soften, let the mind slow to the rhythm of the breath. You are allowed to receive what seeks you. You are the permission. Give your system a moment to notice. Let the feeling of permission settle like dusk across the sky of your shoulders. Let your body choose sleep if it needs it. Let the future send its gentle hand back to you, and accept it. Tonight, you do not need to negotiate with anyone. You do not need to defend your rest. You are enough. You are the permission. Rest now.